Hey everybody, this is Bonnie with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and today I want to show you how to make the drifting weave dishcloth. This is made out of 100% cotton, and these are very versatile and these are very strong. These can last for years and are great pot scrubbers, believe it or not. This particular design is completely reversible. And for one thing, this is a wonderful way to learn a new stitch pattern for your toolbox. Well, let's go ahead and get started. For this project, you will need one ball of PaintBox yarns. I'm using Cotton DK, so let me just accentuate that. This is a DK or number 3 weight yarn, not the usual number 4 weight. Each of these balls of yarn has 150 meter or 137 yards. 50 grams or 1.7 ounces, and as I said before, it is a number 3 and it is 100% cotton, and the color I'll be crocheting with is lime green. These are available at lovecrafts.com. You can look in the video description for the link if you're looking for this particular cotton. Feel free to substitute any other DK weight 100% cotton yarn. It's very important that you use a 100% cotton yarn because it will hold up the best, and it will not melt or fray like other acrylics. So again, cotton, very important for these kitchen items. I'm also going to be using a size G or 6 or 4.00 millimeter crochet hook, and I'm also recommending that you have a pair of sharp scissors and a yarn needle handy. Let's go ahead and start. To begin, we're going to start with a slip knot and a starting chain of 40 chains. To start row 1, we're going to work a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just working in the side of the chain. I'm not working in the back bump because that's not really going to be necessary for this design. And I'm going to work a double crochet into each of those chains all the way across. You should have a total of 37 double crochets at the end of this row, and that is not including the chain 3 at the beginning. So go ahead and work row 1. After you complete row 1, let's go ahead and turn. Chain 2. We're going to skip the first stitch, which is the end stitch, and we're going to work front post double crochets in each of the next 4 stitches. And for those of you who've never worked a post stitch, don't be afraid of it. You just wrap the hook, insert the hook around the body of the stitch, and then complete the double crochet as you would normally. It's actually a much easier stitch to work, in my opinion, once you get those nerve endings used to what they need to expect, and yet your fingers help you. Now for the next 4 stitches, we're coming in the back door and we're working 4 back post double crochets, and that's just simply wrap, bring the hook from the back side, and you should see the hook going around the body, pick up a loop, and complete the stitch as usual. So if there's anybody out there who's never worked these stitches before, I hope you just pick it up and give it a try. Mistakes are always allowed and the best possible way to work. So after you work 4 front post and 4 back post, we're going to repeat that across the row. 4 front post double crochets, and then we're going to follow that with 4 back post double crochets. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and work this across the row, and I'll show you how the row ends. This row ends by working 4 front post double crochets, and then in that turning chain we are going to work a half double crochets. And for the record, you still maintain the same stitch count of 38 stitches. Now for row 3, we're going to turn, chain 2. We're going to skip that first stitch. Now we're going to begin our pattern. We're going to work a front post double crochet in that first stitch, and then we're going to work 4 back post double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to take one of these other stitches, 4. So you can see that this stitch is going to be just one off. Okay, so now we're going to go and work 4 front post double crochets. We're going to work these 3 and then take one more from this other 4 stitch group. Okay, now we're going to work again 4 back post, and then we take, this is the 4th stitch, which is one of the 4 grouping, and then 4 front post double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then again one of this other grouping. So let's take a look at what we're doing here. It's not real easy to see immediately, but what's going to happen is these 4 groupings are going to drift 1 stitch, and depending on which side is facing you will determine what direction that will drift. Okay, so now we're going to just 4 back post double crochets, and then 4 front post double crochets, these 3 and then one more. So go ahead and work this all the way across, and I will show you how this row ends. Row 3 ends by working 3 back post double crochets, and a half double worked into that turning chain. So let's turn and look at what we have after completing 3 rows. Now you can see how this is leaning this direction with this side facing. This is when the even number rows are facing, and when the odd number rows are facing, it's going to be leaning the other direction. So, and just for the record, the front side, the back side, this really is a reversible project, but just for the practicality of using the numbers, we're going to call the even numbered rows the front side and the odd numbered rows the back side. All right, so for row number 4, chain 2, going to skip the first stitch. We're going to front post double crochet in the first 2 stitches, and then now we begin our pattern. Back post double crochet in the next 4 stitches, okay, so I've completed those 4 stitches, and there's one more stitch left of that grouping from the last row. So now we work 4 front post double crochets, okay, just like so. And again, 4 back post double crochets followed by 4 front post double crochets. So go ahead and work this all the way across. At the end of row 4, we end with 2 back post double crochets and then a half double worked into that turning chain. And this is what you have after 4 rows. Let's go ahead and turn for row number 5. Hopefully you're seeing a pattern emerge here. Okay, so now we're drifting to the left here. So we're going to skip that first stitch. We're going to front post double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And now we begin the pattern. 4 back post double crochets, and we're going to follow that with 4 front post double crochets, and thereby establishing the pattern across the row. And just notice that when we work this across, we're always picking out 1 additional stitch from the other grouping from the last row. So go ahead and finish row number 5. Row 5 ends by working 4 front post double crochets and 1 back post double crochet, and then we follow that with a half double worked into that turning chain. So this is what you have after 5 rows. Let's go ahead and turn for row 6. Chain 2, skip the first stitch, and we're going to work a back post double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. So starting with that very first stitch, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And at any point in time, if you're confused as to what to do next, just look at the pattern. You see the pattern is drifting to the right. So we're going to catch that next stitch for the next 4 front post double crochets. So that is the pattern across the row. 4 back post double crochets followed by 4 front post double crochet. So go ahead and finish row 6, and I'll show you how this row ends. This row ends by working 4 back post double crochets. And a half double worked into that turning chain. All right, so let's go ahead and turn and see what we have after completing 6 rows. Now for row 7, we have turned and chain 2, and we're going to need 4 stitches to the left. So we're going to work that first stitch, skip the first stitch rather. That next stitch, or the first stitch that we work, will be a back post double crochet, and we follow that with 4 front post double crochets, and then we're going to follow that with 4 back post double crochets. So that's what you're going to work all the way across the row. And again, taking one of the groupings from the last row so that we are moving in a direction. Go ahead and work that across, and I will show you how this row ends. Row 7 ends by working 4 back post double crochets and then 3 front post double crochets, and followed by a half double worked into that turning chain. This is what you have after completing 7 rows. All right, let's turn to start row number 8 with a chain 2. Okay, we're drifting towards the right now, so we're going to work back post. We're going to work 2 back post double crochets, and then followed by 4 front post double crochets, and then we're going to follow that with 4 back post double crochets. And so we're going to just work that across row 8. All right, just like that. Row 8 ends with 4 back post double crochets, and then we work 2 front post double crochets, and then a half double worked into that turning chain. So this is what you should have after completing 8 rows. All right, let's turn for row number 9. Chain 2, and now we're drifting to the left. Skip that first stitch. We're going to back post into the first 3 stitches, or the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Now we're back to our established pattern. 4 front post double crochets, 1 in each of the next 4 stitches, and then follow that with 4 back post double crochets. And 1 more of this grouping. All right, so that's what we're going to work all the way across. Go ahead and do that, and I'll show you how this row ends. Row 9 ends by working 4 back post double crochets and 1 front post double crochet. And let's go ahead and work that half double in the turning chain. And this is what you should have after completing 9 rows. So now what we're going to have you do is repeat rows 2 through 9 one more time, and then repeat rows 2 through 5 again. This will give you a total of 21 rows. If you need stitch support, go ahead and look at the bottom of the screen where you can go back. I'll put a time mark there so you can go back to row number 2 to follow through again. So now we're going to work 2 perimeter rounds, and we're going to start by turning 90 degrees, chain 1, and we're going to be working along the row ends. So for that first row end, we're just going to work 1 single crochet. Then we're going to work 2 into the next row end. And we're going to repeat that around 1, and then 2. 1 single crochet, and then 2 in the next. So go ahead and work this until you get to the corner. So you should have a total of 30 single crochets worked along the side. Now we're going to turn 90 degrees. We're going to chain 2 for the chain 2 corner, and we're going to work 1 single crochet in that first chain, and we're going to work in each one over this foundation chain, which is really another reason why I don't prefer using the foundation chain, because in this particular design, and in a lot of the designs that I do, the foundation chain is usually covered up anyway by other stitches. And if you're not sure where to place your hook, look where the other stitches were, like the base of that stitch was here, and then go ahead and work over both of those loops that remain of the foundation chain that we worked at the very beginning. So go ahead and work this all the way across, and I'm going to give you some instructions. And when you get to the last stitch here, which is right here. We're going to chain 2, turn 90 degrees, and then we'll work 1 single crochet in this row end, 2 in the next, 1 in the next, 2 in the next, etc., until you have a total of 30 stitches, just like on the other side. Chain 2, turn, and then working 1 single crochet in each stitch across. Go ahead and do that. I will show you how to join and how to do the round that follows. At the end of the round, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to join to that very first single crochet of the round, just like so. So you should have 40 stitches across the top and the bottom, 30 along the sides. All right, so now I'm going to put an additional round, which is going to really set this off. And instead of using what I usually use, which is called the knurl or the crab stitch, which is also called a reverse single crochet, I'm going to embody the twisted single crochet, which I think is going to be easier for everybody here. So to do this, let's go ahead and chain 1. We're going to join that first stitch in the same place as joining. Okay, stick our hook in, pull up a loop. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to turn the hook counterclockwise 1 time, yarn over, and pull through. We're going to do that all the way around, and we're going to do it once in each of the chain 2 corners as we go around. So again, insert, pull it up, a loop just like you would for a single crochet. Now don't get too tight on this. If you get too tight, you're going to have a harder time pulling these strings through. Twist, yarn over, and pull through. You don't want to get ridiculously loose either, but just use your normal tension. Twist, yarn over, pull through. I'm going to do several of these, and then you can get an idea of how this looks. And you can let me know in the comments below if this is an easier stitch for you, or would you prefer the knurl or the reverse single crochet. And if you do prefer the reverse single crochet, feel free to just use that. But I would love to hear from you in the comment section if this is something that you like. Okay, so now having done a few of these, you get an idea of what this looks like. And let's take another look at the original sample so that you can see how this looks completed all the way around. See how even that is? And that's just that twisted single crochet. So go ahead and continue working this all the way around, and like I said, when you get to the chain 2 corner, just do this 1 time in that chain 2 corner, and that should be enough. Now if you want to do it twice in the corners, you know, you can play around with that and decide which look you like the best. But go ahead and work this all the way around, and I will show you how to join at the end. So that brings us to the end of the round, where we will work another twisted single crochet into that chain 2 corner, and I'm actually going to work a second one into this last corner, and then I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the bottom and give it a chain and a tug. I'm going to clip a nice strand, and so you can see this is going to be really nice. And then I'm going to hide the one loose end. Actually, there are going to be 2 of them, but you can simply run this under the stitches just like so. And having a nice yarn needle really does help this quite a bit. And then I'm going to run it back the other direction. There are a lot of different ways you can do this, as long as you just securely hide that thread. I think that will be good. If you go 2 different directions at least, that actually adds a lot more security. And clip it close, but don't clip your strands. And we do have one other to hide, which I'll go ahead and hide in a similar manner. Well, I hope you enjoyed this project today. If you did, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, or check out my channel. I have literally over 1,000 videos for you to choose from. Check out the playlist so that you can look for specific items that are already categorized for you. God bless. Bye-bye.